patterns, then we're going to go into scenes, and then we're going to get into the confusing song modes. The difference between the KO2 and other grooveboxes is that the KO2 only plays what it sees. If you show it something, it's going to play that and it's going to keep doing it until you manually stop it. Other grooveboxes, let's take the MPC for example. If I tell the MPC to play a sequence 5 times and then to play another sequence 2 times, that's exactly what it's going to do. And once it's done with those commands, it's just going to stop. First, let's get into patterns. So basically, you build your patterns with the sounds you have within your groups. You can mix them up as you see fit. For example, you can have A1 with B2, or you can have C5 with A1, if that's how you chose to set it up. These groups are just basically tracks and lanes. So you have track 1, which is track A, and then you have lanes, which is lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4. And each of those lanes are patterns. We already know that little circle means an empty pattern. If that circle is there, that means that pattern is empty. If you go to a pattern that's actually used, that circle will disappear. After that, you have your scenes. So scenes, you can build different patterns and chain them together using scenes. The scenes tell the KO2 what patterns to play together. And you'll understand as we start to build, but the key here is you have to build your scenes exactly how you want them to play within the song mode. That's going to make it a lot easier for you. What do I mean by that? Meaning if you have a 1-bar pattern, that's all you're going to get out of the song mode. If you have an 8-bar pattern, then you're going to get 8 bars out of that particular scene once it enters into song mode. That brings me to the topic of the L. This L here. Some said layers, some said loops. This L actually means list. Some people were saying it doesn't even matter what it means, and to a certain extent that is true. But it's good to know what it means because then you begin to understand the structure. They call it a list because within these lists, you have different scenes. So you can have 10 scenes in one list. Then you have to build another list, and that list will have 10 scenes in it. And you can make those scenes change between each other. So that's what that L means. I get the confusion because teenage engineering, they don't even use lists. They call it a song position. And they're calling it a song position because once you get into song mode, these lists are placed in certain positions to make your song. And that's why they call it a song position. Now we get into song mode. The song mode are lists compiling a bunch of scenes together to play in a specific order. This is song mode. That's all it is. The lists tell the KO2 what scenes to play and in what order. First, we're going to build a simple pattern. Then we're going to put that pattern into a scene. Then we're going to take those scenes and build a little song with it. All right, so let's build something. Let's have some fun with the song mode. It's going to be something real simple. Kick, snare, hi-hat. Let's go. Let's get into it. All right, let's stop there. So that is A1. We just put all of that on A1. Let's add a bass. Bass is going to be on B1. All right, let's go. I don't like that. Good enough. So that bass line is on B1. Now let me show you what I mean when I talk about the tracks and the lanes. So right now, A1 and B1 play together. Right? Now let's remove A1. Let's shift this over to A2. We can see that's a blank pattern. You see that little orange sun icon. So that means that's a blank pattern. So now just the bass line is going to play. Let's move it back to A1, and let's move B1 to B2, which is an empty pattern. And now the drums are just going to play. I just wanted to show you that so you can see the difference between moving and shifting the lanes. If you line up A1 with B1, they're both going to play together. If you shift it and move A1 to A2, just the bass is going to play together. Some were trying to mute sounds and all of that when they were in song mode. When you try to mute sounds, you got to be careful because you could be muting a sound in another pattern or muting a sound in another scene. Don't even get into that. The best thing to do in those situations when you're building your song is to just create another pattern. So we have A1 here and we have B1. We're good with that, right? So now let's create a scene since we're done with that. Shift, main, we just created another scene. Now what we're going to do in this scene is we're going to remove this snare. This snare here, we're going to remove that. Delete that track, and now, so scene 2 has no snare. Scene 1 has everything. Let's create another scene. Scene 3. So for scene 3, we're going to remove the kick. Let's remove this kick here. Now, that's scene 3. Create another scene. Scene 4. In this scene, we're going to remove the bass line. Great. So now we have 4 scenes. Let's go through the scenes again. So scene 1 is going to be the entire drum pattern. Scene 2, no snare. Scene 3, no kick and no snare. Scene 4, no bass line. That's good. That's good enough to build a little song. We just built a pattern. Then we took that pattern, created some scenes. So now that we have our patterns and our scenes together, let's go into song mode. Now we're in list 1. So for list 1, I want to play scene 4. I want the song to open up with just drums. List 1 playing scene 4. Let's see what that sounds like. Perfect. Sounds good enough to me. Now I'm ready to move on to the next list. So we're going to hit Shift A to add another list. And in this list, I want to play scene 3, which is, I believe, just no kick. Let's listen and see. Yes. So I want list 2 to play scene 3, and I want it to play scene 3 2 times. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add another list to play scene 3 2 times because it was just a 1-bar pattern. So let's do that. So now that will play 2 times. Let's listen and see what it sounds like. Once, twice, and then it goes back to that initial intro. It's just going to keep looping that song mode until you manually stop it. Sounds good so far. So let's create another list, list 4, and we want to play scene 1. Let's see what that sounds like. Two. Perfect. And then it went back to the intro. Sounds good to me, but I think I want that drop to play 2 times as well. So let's add another list playing it 2 times. So now it's going to play 2 times. One, 2. 1, 2. And it's going to go back to the intro. I think I want that final pattern to play 3 times, just so you can kind of get the concept. So let's add another list. In fact, no. Let's add another sequence, a different sequence. I want list 6 to play sequence 2. It's the one with no snare. And that's pretty much it. That is song mode. So while we're here, I just wanted to point out some commands that you're going to need to know. If you just press play, it's going to play right from where you are. Wherever that playhead is, that's where it's going to play from. If you want to go to the beginning of a song, you have to hold shift, then press play, and it's going to go to the beginning. List 1. Let's go do that again. List 4 is just going to play from list 4. Now I want to go to the beginning. Shift, play. That's the first thing. If you want to cut or delete a song position, it's going to be the same command as copy. But what you're doing is you're actually cutting the position of the song. So here we have L6. Let's say we don't want L6 anymore. We're going to do Shift C, and it cut L6 out of the song. So let's say we don't want 5. Let's cut that. Now it's down to 4. I want to show you something else. Let's say we want to start with that position. We want to start with this as opposed to starting with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to position 4, which is list 4. I'm going to copy it, Shift C, and I'm going to insert that at the beginning. Shift D, paste. After this, it's going to go into the initial intro that we had because it just shifted that intro forward. Hopefully you guys caught that. Let me do it again. Here we have the intro. This is the intro, L1 or list 1. This is the intro we have right now. I don't want that intro. I want the intro here on list 4. I want that to be the intro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy, Shift C. I'm going to go to the intro or to the beginning of the song, and I'm going to paste it here. And now it's going to start here. So that's pretty much the song mode. It's not complicated. It's just understanding the structure and the build of how it actually works. Patterns, scenes, then song mode.